Imagine this for a moment. You're in a conversation. You have an idea. You want to say something? But at the last second, you stop yourself, or maybe you say it, and a few seconds later, you start replaying it in your mind. Did that sound stupid? Should I have said that? Maybe I shouldn't have spoken at all. Most people think moments like these are insignificant, but they are not. In fact, these small moments can reveal a lot about how we see ourselves. Let's understand and fix self-confidence in a simple way. For example, someone says something in a conversation and immediately regrets it or starts doubting themselves. This small reaction might seem unimportant, but it actually reveals something deeper about self-confidence. Because self-confidence is not only about big moments, it is built in small daily situations. And it is also weakened in the same way. And to understand this more deeply, we need to look at the patterns behind it. One of the strongest patterns is comparison. Most people compare themselves without noticing it. They compare their success, their appearance, their relationships, their achievements, and even their personality. The problem is not comparison itself, because comparison is natural. The problem begins when comparison becomes the way a person defines their value, because there will always be someone who seems better in some way, and if your worth depends on being better, you will never feel stable. There will always be another level, another person, another standard, and this creates a constant feeling of not being enough. Another pattern is perfectionism. At first, it looks like something positive, high standards, attention to detail, but internally it creates pressure. Because perfectionism says, if it is not perfect, it is not worth doing. So people delay, they overthink, they stay silent. They wait for the perfect moment, but that moment never arrives, and life slowly becomes postponed. Another important factor is approval. Everyone likes approval, but when approval becomes necessary for self-worth, people begin to change themselves too much. They avoid disagreement. They hide opinions. They say what is acceptable instead of what is real, and slowly they lose connection with their own voice. And when you lose your voice, confidence weakens. Now here is the key point. Self-confidence is not lost in one moment. It is built or weakened through repeated small patterns, small moments of silence, small moments of self-doubt, small moments of self-shrinking, and over time, they become your identity. Can low confidence be changed? Now we move into the healing and rebuilding process. And the answer is yes, but not by thinking more and not by understanding more. Real change does not come from insight. It comes from behavior, from action, even when you don't feel ready. Because waiting to feel ready is part of the problem. The first shift is this: you stop abandoning yourself in small moments, and this is more important than it sounds, because self-abandonment is rarely big. It is quiet. It happens when you stay silent, even though you have something to say, when you agree just to avoid discomfort, when you explain yourself too much so no one misunderstands you. Every time this happens, you send your brain one message: my voice is not safe here. So instead, you start small. You speak when you would. Normally stay silent. You say your opinion without over-explaining it. You let your voice exist, even if it feels uncomfortable. At first, it feels unnatural, even wrong. But slowly, your brain learns. Something new. I can survive this moment. And that is how confidence begins. The second shift is your relationship with discomfort. Most people treat discomfort as danger. But discomfort is not danger. It is unfamiliarity. Your brain cannot always tell the difference between the two, so it sends the same alarm for both. But growth only exists in unfamiliar places. So instead of escaping discomfort, you stay with it. You observe it without running from it. And slowly, your nervous system learns. This is not danger. This is growth. The third shift is how you see mistakes. Mistakes are not identity. They are information. They are not proof that you are not enough. They are proof that you are trying something new. Every confident person was once uncertain. Every skilled person was once clumsy. So, instead of asking, "What is wrong with me?" you start asking, "What is this teaching me?" The fourth shift is rebuilding self-trust. Because confidence is not just how you feel. It is how much you can rely on yourself. Self-trust is built in invisible moments. No one is watching. When it would be easy to break your own word, but you don't. You keep small promises to yourself. You do what you said you would do, even in tiny things. And over time, your mind learns something powerful. I can depend on myself. That is stability. That is confidence. Shift is your inner voice because you cannot build confidence in a hostile mind. If your inner voice is always critical, nothing grows there, so you don't replace it with fake positivity. You replace it with fairness. Not, "I am perfect," but "I am learning," not, "I am not enough," but "I am improving." And finally, the most important shift, you act before you feel ready, because readiness is not the starting point. It is the result of action, not the condition for it. So you start before certainty arrives, before fear disappears, before confidence is fully formed. And something slowly changes. You stop shrinking yourself. You stop overthinking every word. You stop waiting for permission to exist. And you start trusting yourself again, not because fear disappears, but because fear no longer leads your life. And that is where real confidence begins. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, consider subscribing for more psychology and motivation content. And if you understand this, confidence is not about being perfect. It is about trusting yourself in small moments again and again, and every small action builds who you become. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, consider subscribing For more psychology and motivation content,